and welcome back to Alpha Preparedness. Today we're going to be talking about this. This is the SOG First Responder bag. So we're going to dive into the contents, of course, and then we're going to talk about why. So firstly, we're going to look over on the outside. We have a pouch here. We have 3 pouches here. These are designed for AR-15 mags. And we have another pouch here that has MOLLE on it. On the back side of it, it has this breathable mesh and a little Velcro loop strap. This is designed for right-hand use, and this little guy will Velcro to your buckle, or your belt, or what have you in that area. Unfortunately, as far as I know, they don't make one that goes right to left. This one goes left to right. So we're going to start with the strap here, which is, you see, it's got the extendamajiggies, and that'll go as big or as little as you want. I'm a rather tall person, so I do have it stretched quite far. It does have a quick release buckle, only on one side. And then the padded strap does have some MOLLE on it, and then it has this little duder here. You can put something in there, like I don't know, something. It's not elastic, it's not stretchy, so you can only put something in there about an inch around, so maybe a flashlight or something. But you notice I do have this little guy here. This is the Next Torch UL 12. This is a tri-colored light this runs on AAA batteries. But you press and hold it to turn it on. You've got a white light, just enough to see what you're doing. It doesn't need to light up a whole room or a stadium. It's just enough, like I said, just enough to see what you're doing. Press it again, it switches to solid red. Again, not super bright, but enough to see what you're doing. You press it one more time, and it goes to a red-blue strobe. Press it again, goes back to white. Unfortunately, you do have to cycle through the modes on this particular one. It's not memory, but that's fine. We just deal with that. So this light here, I put this on here because in the event I'm using this, I want to be able to identify myself as a good guy as quickly as possible without diverting my attention away from what I'm doing. And we'll get into why that's a little bit more important with certain builds versus my build. So my build, which might surprise some of you, is weapon free. There is no weapons in here whatsoever. There's no guns, there's no knives, there's no nothing. There's no mags in here, nothing. But if you were to build it that way, which I've seen people do that way, and that's fine if that's how you want to build it, I absolutely would recommend something like this. There's other companies that make similar things, but something to identify yourself as a good guy as quickly as possible from a distance could save your life, honestly. So now that I've told you that there's no weapons in it, let's take a look and see what's actually inside. I might have already lost some of you, but this is I'm a medical gear nerd, so I like this a lot. So zip open that. We have 2 pairs of sealed individual nitrile gloves, and then we have 4 red chem sticks. These are more or less spares. You can stick whatever color you think you're going to need more of in there. And I have 2 packs of this jelly lube. We'll get into what that's for in a little bit. Some of you might already know. Pocket number 1. This is empty. I haven't decided what to put in here yet, so she's empty. Pocket number 2 and 3 both have the same thing in it, and that is 3 of these Curlix bandages. Because gauze is super important. And we come to pocket number 5. I've got 2 quick grab laced through the MOLLE here. So the MOLLE on the sides is thinner, and the MOLLE on the inside The middle row, if you will, is much wider, so I'm not able to put a chem light in there without it flopping around all over the place. But I had two quick grab red ones, and in the pouch itself we've got a 14 gauge North American Rescue tension pneumothorax needle. I do have more on the way, so. And then I have a bundle of these packs. These are Celox granules. These things are amazing. I've had to use these on myself with an unfortunate razor knife accident that resulted in 11 stitches. I can tell you that stuff is amazing. On to the inside. It's double zippered. The zipper itself, it's not YKK, I don't believe, but it seems sturdy enough. Anyway, right on tap, I've got a handful of these non-adherent 3x8 gauze. Because like I said, gauze is awesome. Remember the jellies from earlier? That's for these bad boys, nasopharyngeal airways. A couple of those in there. I've got around half a dozen of these. This is super compressed gauze, air sealed. Of course, we have to have trauma shears. This is a rather robust, nice quality pair. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. And then I've got some, I don't know how many of these, some number of these 4-inch Israeli bandages. And then I've got these tourniquets. So I've got 4 of these Rhino Rescue tourniquets. This is the same brand that my workplace uses in our trauma kits that we have at work. There are active shooter kits. Most of the kit is Rhino Rescue, so I went ahead and bought some of that for my own personal use for these. So of course we have high fin vented chest seal. I've got half a dozen or so of those in there. And then here on the inside, you can see there's Molly on the inside. I went ahead and lined the whole thing with chem lights. It's half yellow, half green. That's pretty much it for the inside of that. So like I was discussing earlier, you can build this a little bit more differently, where you stuff the middle full of medical gear and then the outside with tactical gear. Of course, that's one way you do it, to each their own. If you want to run into an active shooter scenario with trauma kit, running and gunning, by all means do that. But make sure you have one of these. And make sure you understand the laws and legalities of what you're doing. Free, so I don't have to worry about legalities. Where I work is a non-permissive environment. If I were to have a firearm in there, not only would I lose my job and my way of life, I would also probably face jail time. And that's the same case for a lot of people in the country. They can't necessarily carry their firearm at work, or a stun gun or whatever. But you can absolutely carry medical gear. Another thing that you could add to this, that I intend to add at a later date when they're more available, is RATS tourniquets. I know there's some bugaboos there, but I actually use RATS tourniquets in my my other trauma kits, because RATS tourniquets, unlike these ones, can cinch down to a child's arm, or even a pet's arm, or leg, or whatever. Children is the go for there. So if you were a teacher or a janitor and you worked at a school, whatever. If you worked at a school, you could build it similar to how I built mine. I would probably go 4 or 5 of this kind, and then half a dozen RATS tourniquets. Tourniquets are pretty great. And then, of course, you want your Israeli bandages and stuff to help, patch people up. So there's a number of ways you can build a first responder kit. This is how I chose to build mine. If you think I missed something, or if you have any constructive criticism, by all means leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say about this pocket here and see what you think I should add in there. I kind of have some ideas, but I definitely want to see what you guys have to say about it. Maybe I get a different perspective. And for another thing that I'll mention is medical gear is great, but please get your training in. Make sure you know how to use this stuff. If you are carrying around a tourniquet and you don't know how to use it, it's useless. So about the chem lights, it's more of a, I want to say it's more of a military thing. I'm not former military or anything, I'm just, this is what I've been told from those types of people. 3 different colors that I have: yellow, green, and red. Actually in order, it's green, yellow, red. That's going to signify medics, paramedics, EMTs, whatever. Generally what's going on. Somebody, if you're in an active scenario and you're helping people patch their wounds until ambulances get there, green, you'll crack that open. Green for pretty much good to go. Yellow or orange, those are interchangeable usually. That's for a more serious, hey look, this person's been shot, stabbed, bludgeoned, whatever, and they are in need of attention. And red is for deceased. They can also signify red as critical. Kind of depends. That's what I've been taught, is good to go, injured, deceased. So that's my first responder kit. I carry this in my vehicle, and I keep it in an easily accessible part of my vehicle. You can keep yours wherever you think you're going to need it the most. I drive a lot and I see a lot of accidents. I think that's where I'm going to use it, if anything. We already, like I said before, we have trauma kits at work already, so I don't really need to bring it to work. But if you're if you're a teacher, or you work in a school, or you're going to school, say you're a college student, you don't necessarily have to get this kit, the bag itself. You can get the contents and put it in your backpack. Same thing with high school or junior high school. You can, for parents out there, you can build a micro version of this, or even just buy a pre-made IFAC kit. That's individual first aid kit. Those come with pretty much everything here. If you buy it from, don't buy it from Amazon, buy it from somebody who sells them outside of Amazon, because Amazon can't really sell tension pneumothorax needles. So most of the kits don't come with them. Actually, I don't think any of the kits come with them. They come with tourniquets and gauze and all that stuff, and that's great. It's a good starter, but then you have to buy the kit, the needles anyway, if that's the way you want to go, which I still recommend using a needle, because even though you might not need to use it on somebody else, it might need to be used on you, and if you have one already readily available, paramedics there, boom, they use yours, you're good to go. So yeah, pick some up. There's a bunch of different websites out there that you can find pre-made IFACs that come with stuff that you can't get on Amazon. And don't forget, always be prepared.